Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to the Introvert Dating Success Show, courtesy of introvertdatingsuccess.com. I'm your host, Harry Wilmington. This is the show, that is the website, where you can go to learn how to date as your authentic, introverted self while still getting your precious alone time. And on today's show, we're going to be answering a question from a guy who simply wants to know when and how to follow up after a first date. And I'm sure it's a question a lot of you guys have, especially as an introvert. You don't want to waste your time by not knowing when to contact and when not to. And the more you know, the better success you're going to get. And it will be less annoying for you to date. So we're going to answer that question today. As always, for more of these shows, you can go to introvertdatingsuccess.com. You can subscribe to us on YouTube, and you can also go to the website as well. You go to iTunes. If you are interested in one-on-one coaching, I do have a paid coaching option. You can go to the website, click on the coaching tab. If you're interested in getting a boost on your dating education, I had a previous podcast called the Stop Losing Women podcast, which was over 400 shows that was all about how to meet, greet, attract, date, and ultimately end up with the woman of your dreams. And all those shows are now available in the archives. So if you go to the website, click on the link that will take you to the options to either do it by a month-to-month subscription or a one-time fee, you will have instant access to over 400 shows, 144 hours of content that is all going to help you be able to reach your highest dating potential. All right. So be sure to check that out. You can check out some of the free shows at that site. If you like those shows, I promise you the other 400 something odd shows are pure gold. As always, if you have questions that you want answered on this particular show, you can write to me by going to the website, clicking on the contact tab. All right. Oh, and there's also free video training at the website. You can go there to learn the types of first messages to send to women on dating apps. They're going to actually get them attracted to you. So be sure to check that out as well. So like I said, let's go ahead and get to this guy's question. It's probably a relatively short show, but he says, trying to work on my consistency following the first date. What do your follow-ups look like and your time frame? I don't think sending I had a great time last night text is a good idea. It comes across as validation seeking. Do you send a text the next day or 2 days after? What do you say? All right. So I think there are a lot of things to consider with this question, because this is a area of dating that a lot of guys mess up at. And the major reason they mess up is because they text her too soon after a date. Most guys can't even wait until they get home. Like, they'll drop the girl off, they'll start driving off, and then they'll text her, I had a great time, or hope you had a wonderful evening. And like he said, it comes across as validation seeking, but it also comes across as you not being confident. Part of building a woman's attraction is being able to do and say things that indicate that you are a confident guy who believes that any girl would be lucky to date you instead of you being lucky to date any girl. Okay. And a lot of those first moments are going to be the things that ultimately determine if you're able to raise her attraction and make her want to keep seeing you, or if you're doing things to lessen her attraction to where you start getting flakes, you start getting rejected date offers, or you end up getting the end all be all, let's just be friends speech, which you don't want. So think about it from that context. Okay. How you ask for that second date and when you reach out to her are very critical in helping to raise your interest level. So the question becomes, at what point should you do that? That's going to have your best chance of making her feelings and stuff rise or whatever. So this is what I typically live. This is what it's worked for me. Okay. I have in my head that when I take a girl out on a date, I'm going to go show her a good time. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing things on a date that are going to be increasing attraction in the moment, whether it's making her laugh, listening to her stories, taking her someplace that I think is going to be, it's not impressive, just that she'll have a decent time, whether it's just us getting to talk to know each other, or, I do a lot of arcade dates, so where she can play games and we can have, that kind of stuff and action, whatever. And then I typically end the night with a kiss. So at that point, I've done everything on this date to make sure to the best of my ability that she's had a good time. And I do that so that way she is wanting more of my attention. And it is at this point that I now pull my attention away. And I do that by not hitting her up right away after that first date. Now, if you're a guy that has been brainwashed to believe that you need to have more contact with the woman, or that if you're not contacting her after a date to let her know that she had a good time, that she's going to lose interest, I'm here to tell you that is a bold-faced lie. There has never been a case where I took a woman out And because I didn't contact her the next day, she just lost all interest, especially those that are highly interested. Women that are highly interested in you, they don't care if you hit them up 2 or 3 months later. Women that aren't that highly interested will find any excuse to stop seeing you, including, oh, well, you didn't text me the next day, so I didn't know you were interested. And also women that are insecure will do that, in which point you don't want to date them anyway, okay? So what I typically have a number in my head, and what I typically tell guys is this, is that after that first date, you should have it in your head that you are not going to reach out to this girl for a minimum of 4 days, okay? Why 4 days? Well, some might think it's an arbitrary number, and it very well could be. But the point is, most women are typically expecting guys to contact them right away after that first date, because most guys do that. 90% I assure you, if you take a girl out, 90% of the guys that she's gone out with have hit her up the next day. And guess what? She's no longer talking to those guys, okay? So first day, you're going to be in the 90%, you're out. Second day, she's going to be like, okay, he might be playing games with me. He might like be trying to, she might call you out like, oh, he's trying to do this thing because he's trying to look so desperate. But understand, just because a woman knows the rules of the game doesn't mean she's not game to play if she's attracted to you. So she might think you're playing games, but if she likes you, she's still anticipating you're going to hit her up, okay? So that's day 2. And by day 3, she's expecting, most guys can't get past day 2. So by day 3, she's like, he's for sure going to hit me up. But when you don't, what happens is now the power goes to your hands, because now in her head, she's thinking, well, he hasn't hit me back. Like, did I do something on the date to mess this up? Did he not have a good time? Did I not laugh enough at his jokes? Did I make him pay too much for the meal? Was I not friendly enough? Like, why isn't he hitting me up? Because her ego up to this point is used to guys, 90% to 95% of them hitting her up by day 1, by day 2, by day 3. So when you don't, now she's thinking there's something wrong with her. And again, you might think that's a bad thing, but this is hitting in her ego, because now she's like, I want to see him again, but he's not hitting me up. What did I do? And this is where she starts talking to her girlfriends about what it is that what she possibly did on the date that could have deterred you. And she's reminiscing about the good time she has. And now she's also wanting that good time again that she's not sure she's going to get because you're not hitting her up. And this is actually a point too. This is usually the point in time where if you're not hitting up a girl regularly, she might actually reach out to you. So part of the reason I wait this long is because I'm looking to see where her interest is at. And I know, based on experience, that if I don't hit her up the next day or the day after, I'd say about 85% of the girls that I've gone out with where I do that, by day 2, they're texting me, hey, just want to see what you're up to. What's going on with you? How you doing? And honestly, by that time, usually they're saying, they're starting to present date ideas to me. Like, hey, so, I'm thinking maybe like in a couple of days, we could like go to the beach, or we could like go see a movie. So part of the reason that I wait is because I want to have their brain help them build up interest in me, but also it's to see at what point is it going to be a thing where she reaches out to me? Because experience has taught me that that's typically what happens. And that when they reach out to me, that indicates to me that they have high interest. Now you might be thinking, well, but what about me in the meantime? Like, I'm not showing her interest when I'm not calling her. But that's not accurate, because again, I think men have it confused where they think that the ways in which women are attracted is the same way that we're attracted. So we're thinking, we want to hear from a girl all the time to indicate that they like us. Even though as introverts, we typically can't stand that, because having to see somebody day to day is very, very tiring and exhausting. But again, the point is that how you attract women is different from how we are attracted. So while you're thinking if I ignore her, she's going to be all butthurt and want her from playing games, etc., she's thinking to herself, man, he can't reach me. Part of it's going to be like, oh, does he like me? Did I mess up? But the other part's going to be, man, he must be so busy. He must be out trying to go after his purpose and achieve his goals. Or maybe he has other women that he's going on dates with. And so since we just started dating, I'm not quite the one he's chosen yet, which is actually a better position, because a lot of women complain about guys being needy and desperate. And that comes from being too available too soon. So when you're not, even though she might be a little bit annoyed, being annoyed at the situation doesn't take away the fact that she's partially attracted because she thinks that she has competition. Okay? So anyway, by the time day 4 comes, by day 3, I haven't hit her up. So by day 4, she's thinking probably like, man, he just wasn't interested. It is what it is. So when I hit her up and say, hey, I'm going to go on another date, she just spent 4 days not thinking she'd ever hear from me again. She's jumping on the yes to that second date. And that's how I score so many second dates. And that's how I score so many second date hookups, because after that first date, if we didn't hook up, she's thinking, I don't know what she's thinking, but my guess is she's thinking, I want to make sure the second date is extra pleasurable for him. Now, that doesn't have to mean we get physical, but most of the time it means we're getting physical, or at least we're getting a second or third base, because if she's even thinking that she has competition, she's trying to wipe that out. Now, that doesn't mean that after this second date and we get physical that she's automatically the girlfriend or anything like that, because that's a whole nother conversation for a whole nother podcast. But she feels as though she's now put herself ahead of the other girls that may have been possibly against her. So this is how you follow up a first date. In short, is you have the first date, you have a good time, and you wait a minimum of 4 days to contact her. If she contacts you, you say, hey, it's great to hear from you. Hey, you know what? Let's set something else up. Anytime a woman hits you up or it's incoming, it means that she wants to see you. That doesn't mean you set the date up for that same day, but she's hitting you up in part because she has a desire to see you and she wants to know that you want to see her again. So when she hits you up, you say, hey, it's great to hear from you. I'd love to see you. Let's go out in like 2 or 3 days. That way she has in her head that that she is in fact going to get to see you again. But the fact that she waited so long, you have a higher probability of her not flaking on that date and actually wanting to show up for that date. And you have a higher probability of her introducing a date idea. And as I like to say, if she's chasing you, she can't be replacing you. So hopefully this answers that guy's question. Hopefully it answers your question. If you like the answer to this and you like my stuff and you want some paid one-on-one coaching, go to the website, click on the coaching tab. I would love, love, love to be able to help you out. In the meantime, if you want to get a really, really good jump on your dating education, you can join my subscription service for my previous podcast, the Stop Losing Women podcast. Over 400 shows, 144 hours of stuff. You are bound to learn something and be 98% ahead of all the other guys that are out there. So you can get that either as a month-to-month subscription or as a one-time nominal fee, but go to the website and check that out. Check out some of the preview shows. If you like those shows, you'll like all the other stuff there. You can also go to the website and check out my eBooks, check out the free video training. And if you have any questions you want answered on one of these shows, you can write to me by clicking on the contact tab. Check the show out on Instagram, Jesus. Check the show out on iTunes as well as on YouTube. Become a subscriber to that. And if you want to support this show by way of Patreon, you can do that by going to patreon.com/introvert dating success. Patreon members get access to these shows a week before anybody else. So it's a great way to hear these shows before they get out there. That's all I got. I'm Harry Wilmington. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to share this show with other guys. There are so many introverts out there that have a hard time dating, and I'm just trying to get this info out to you guys because I'm an introvert. I had a hard time dating for a lot of years, and all I want to do is give back and help other introverts to realize that they do have the potential to actually find women that will date them and will allow them to have their alone time. So that's all I ask you guys, all right? Thanks for checking it out. I'll check you guys on the next show. I'm out. Peace.